My name is Radhika. I'm a 2B30 in chemical department, and I am an editor at Insight, the official student media body of our college, IIT Bombay.
So
And
right now
I'm
you are all on vacation, right? You're at home?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay. Yeah, sorry, Kabir.
yeah. I'm Kabir, and I'm a final year double degree student in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, and I'm also an editor at Insight.
Okay,
So,
wonderful. I was also editor of my college magazine, so I know it's a tough job.
Hmm. Like, can you tell us a bit about yourself and your background?
But in very brief, like I'm an MBA who went into writing as a career. So after graduating, I didn't take the placement and I actually went to journalism. Then I became an entrepreneur. I started my own magazine. And since 2008, I've been writing books which are inspiring stories of, entrepreneurs and other inspiring figures, people who've done something different, people who've created their own destiny.
what inspired you to write a book about the women who graduated from IIT Bombay specifically?
So actually, this is not my idea. This is a project undertaken by IIT Bombay. In fact, in September 2022, a book was released. It was a coffee table book. It was called Her Story. So I helped them put that together. And the entire project was conceived by a person called Mr. DC Agarwal, who is from 69 batch, I think, of mechanical engineering. I'll just confirm that to you. So he felt that, like this, it's a very unique and very interesting uh, aspect of IIT Bombay, that the girls who were part of the early batches, when there were very few girls, like in some batches there are 5 girls, 10 girls, 15 girls out of a batch of 400, but they went on to have very fine careers. They made their mark in different fields. So he wanted to sort of have a book which captures their stories, and maybe that can inspire the young girls of today कि भाई उस टाइम पे जब कोई भी नहीं करता था, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी इज वेरी अनहर्ड ऑफ फॉर गर्ल्स टू स्टडी इन 80s 90s, but even then they were the pioneers who went on to do amazing things. So why not more people come into the field today? So that was the whole project, and I came into it because um, well, actually, I also grew up on a campus called TIFR, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. So it was very common in my campus for students, like all of us growing up, it was, the goal was to go to IIT. So many of our friends and seniors, juniors, they went to IIT. And 5 of the girls featured in this book are actually my childhood friends who, I grew up with. So when I came to know that, I thought, I mean, the people were selected by IIT Bombay. It's not my selection. They had given a list. Ki these are the 30 people. So one of my friends, Rekha Koita, she asked me, like, can would you like to take up this project? So I thought, why not? I mean, it's a different subject. It's not been done by anybody, and I think their stories deserve to be told. So that's how I got into it.
Writing this book and into writing the stories of these women, what was the most challenging part of? Uh,
So actually, initially there was no book. They had done a podcast. They had done a series of podcasts, but they wanted to adapt that into a book. But then to make a book, it has to have a little more information, little more. I mean, everybody in the book is spread out throughout the world. Many are in US, some are in Australia, or in different parts of India. So to get, and they're very busy people who have, who are so much, I don't know what to say, devoted to their field. Like if they're doing research or they're often they won't reply only for a long time. We ask them some questions, so कुछ जवाब ही नहीं आता था वापस. So I had to keep on requesting them for their inputs, for their photos, for their um, to be able to write their story.
hmm.
So I mean, I don't know if it's. I have written 12 books before this, so writing the book per se wasn't a challenge, but then collecting all the material from them, especially the photographs, was a big challenge because some of them are also very shy. They only give one photograph or one very like small size photograph or some old. We wanted old pictures from hostel days, so to collect all the material from them was quite a challenge.
Right. So, you conducted 30 interviews over a span of how much
So
time?
actually, I did not conduct the first interview. It was done by IIT Bombay alumni Damini Kumari. Okay, she's from 92 batch. Okay, I don't know which field. I'll have to check in the book. But she had done a podcast. Okay, but that was much more like only for the, it didn't cover every aspect. So it had some info, but like it had 30-40% of what we needed. She did the original interviews. After that, I followed up. I created the format. I followed up, did the, email interviews, filled in the gaps and put it all together in a more relatable or interesting way. See, podcast was not heard by that many people. It's a good, um, it's a good medium, but the same thing in a book form also has a value. So I worked on the book and she worked on the book. In September 22, all the around 15 of the women from the book had gathered, from whoever was in India, many of them had come, some were visiting from abroad. So it was a really wonderful, chance to meet everyone. And the chief guests, there were two very eminent ladies who were the chief guests. One was Diana Idalji, who used to be the captain of the women's cricket team, and the other was Falguni Nair, who is the CEO of Nika. So I was really happy because, Diana Dalji is from my school, which is St. Joseph's High School in Kolaba. I mean, very much more senior, but I had heard that she's from our school and I asked her and she said yes. And Falguni Nair is from IIM Ahmedabad, so she's my senior from IIM Ahmedabad. So I think that was very memorable for me, to meet them at this place, and each, both of them had their own perspective on how, um, how things have been were difficult, in the corporate world or in the cricketing world for women, but still they made their marks. So that was the theme of the book also, and that was the theme of their talk.
Mm. So, like after interviewing all these women, what do you think are the major challenges that these women faced, and how did their time at IIT Bombay shape their careers and lives?
Yeah, like I said, in many cases, there was only one girl in the entire computer science class. So imagine hundreds to 80s, I don't know how many, 60, 70 students and one girl. So obviously that girl is feeling a bit odd. All eyes are on her. Even professor will notice if she's not in the class. So it was like a lot of attention and a lot of expectation also, right? I mean, you want to do well, you want to perform. And one of the things they all said was that boys used to sit together in their hostel and do the homework and the assignments together, and in the girls hostel they didn't have that option because there's no other girl, and
Mm.
they couldn't go out in the night and sit in the boys hostel. So they had to learn to become very self sufficient, very independent, to speak up, and become very self confident to speak and express their opinions. And all these things helped them later on when they went to work also. Because I remember one of the women, she said, I went to MIT and there were only three girls there, and so they were saying, oh, this is very difficult. And I said, but I have come from a place where I was the only girl, so this three is very good. Three girls in one class is very good. So even later on in corporate world, they found that as they rose higher, or even in any field, there were very few men. As you rise higher and higher, you might be the only woman in the meeting room. So they were bold and able to speak up and assert themselves because they had already done it in IIT, so they didn't have to learn that. That was something that came to them naturally.
Okay. Um, uh, what kind of impact do you think your book would have on the current and future students, and especially women who are pursuing that education in STEM?
Yeah, I think the message is just that look, if they could do it at a time when it was so rare for women to even study engineering, and today I think there are about 30% girls, right? I mean, Hostel 10 used to be one small two-story building. I think it's like one big tower now. So I think at least 300 girls are studying, or more than that, right? And imagine earlier how many girls were there, 15 girls in a batch, 10 girls in a batch. So if they could do it 30 years back, they could, come forward and rise up so high and make an impact in their field, whether they're in research, whether they're in startups, whether they're doing something in their own company, or they're teaching. I think that it just gives a lot of inspiration to the current generation, that all the doors have been opened for them. And more than IIT students, I mean, IIT students, I think you're already at a sort of a pinnacle, you have the confidence. But there are a lot of girls, who do engineering just as a degree, and then they don't pursue a proper career, right? I mean, they are from the lesser known colleges, so the parents say ठीक है आप पढ़ाई कर लो, but आगे नौकरी करनी जरूरी है क्या. So even girls who are in say ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, I mean, although it's becoming more popular, engineering is still, I mean, a lot of families may still not encourage girls to
Mm.
go for science and engineering. So, in fact, we want to, reach this book out to all the schools, high school girls, and their parents, to say that look, there is a lot of future and scope in engineering, in STEM careers. So, it's not that अभी भी there is a sort of misconception that science, maths, maybe it's more for boys. I'm not saying in all strata of society, but India is very vast, so we are hoping to reach out to all these people and sort of give the message that even if you're from IIT, you have to struggle, you have to, work hard to develop yourself. You have to be bold, you have to be confident. So that applies to everybody, whether you have an IIT degree or not. So I hope you guys will help us to at least reach all the current students of IIT Bombay, because
Yeah.
I think even they would benefit a lot. Just to know that, see, also everybody's career is not straight. Like sometimes when we are studying one thing and we don't get our dream job, or we don't get into the right, and we want to go somewhere for masters, wo nahi hota hai, then we feel very disappointed. But
Mm.
actually, if you look back in life's journey, many of these women featured in this book, they changed their path midway. Somebody went to do PhD in one subject and attended a lecture and thought, no, that is better, and became a sort of took a U-turn and did a totally different field, which they're not even studied in undergrad. And today is
Mm.
a professor in that field. So life is not a straight path; it's a zigzag, right? Some opportunities come, some events, situations happen. So you don't have to take anything as a failure. Maybe there's something else, like if one door closes, another one will open.
Mm.
So that's really the message of this book, that no, don't be so hung up on मुझे यही करना है, यही मेरे लिए बेस्ट है. Okay, like for example, there is a person featured in the book called Kavita Ramanan. She did her and IIT, I think she did chemical engineering, and now today she's a professor of applied mathematics in Brown University. Okay, it's one of the top universities in US, right? So she had not even studied maths in undergrad, but then after she in fourth year she felt, no, I want to study mathematics and I want to do applied mathematics. So she went to do her MS and PhD in mathematics.
Mm.
So many possibilities are there, and future is wide open, and world is full of opportunities.
Also, how has writing this book influenced your own perspective on, in general, women in higher education and women in STEM?
Yeah, I mean, I have, what should I say? It's not something new for me. Like as I said, I did grow up in a campus where there were a lot of scientists. But yeah, back then most of the scientists were men. So it's very nice to see that so many women have come up in this field. And even today in TIFR, there would be lot more women professors, women scientists. Um, I feel that whatever you do, you have to follow you have to know who you are, and pursue that. Like I was also school topper. People expected that I got highest marks in maths in my 10th standard. Everyone thought that I will go to do IIT like my other friends. But I sort of realized ki I don't like maths. Like I can do it, I can get marks, but I don't enjoy it.
Mm.
I enjoy, literature. I enjoy writing. So I think you have to focus on your aptitude and interest, and based on that you can do very well. So if you have aptitude for science, you must go for it. If you don't have, you should not force yourself to go for it, because it's become a fashion ki karna hi karna hai. Okay, if you work hard you can do it, but if you work hard but you don't enjoy it, then your life is going to be miserable. So a message is not that everybody should go to IIT and take up a STEM career. It's like, if you have aptitude, please go for it. If not, you will find something else suitable for you.
During your interviews, did you find anything like any answer which you had not expected to hear from the women you were interviewing, like some kind of revelation or something you hadn't thought of?
No, I think one thing I noticed was that many of them had taken a break from their career for a few years because they had children, and they were able to come back, sometimes in the same field or in a different field, or because technology keeps changing. So you can, the same doesn't happen in management always. Like I am from IIM Ahmedabad, so many of my friends who dropped out, they never went back to have a career. So I think technology is more flexible. Like startups will take you, or they will say, okay, fine, uh, there's some new field coming up where you can still enter and make a mark, right? Even if you were away for 5 years, you can reskill yourself and re-enter the world of working world. So for example, somebody might be a professor, goes and works in a startup for a few years and comes back and again becomes a professor, or vice versa. Somebody worked in a big company, maybe when they come back they go to a small company and then again they're taken back. So here I think the concept of failure and career gap is not so much as in management. In for an MBA, if they miss 5 years, then when they come back, sometimes they're not able to get a job easily again.
How has the response to your book been so far?
Yeah, it's been very good. We haven't actually done any major events or any big promotions because we thought we'll wait for IIT Bombay to start the session and then do something, so that we can address all the students. So right now it's doing well. It's in all the bookstores. It's online, and I think some of the alumni from all over the world have also shown a lot of interest. I met somebody from IIT Bombay Toronto Alumni Association. They also want to do some online events. So I mean, it's not a book that is for which will just come in the limelight for 1 month and disappear. It's something that we are going to sort of work on the whole year to spread it all across India, to especially to the students in schools and colleges, those graduating from other engineering colleges also, or people who are in their early career, to know that these are all the possibilities open to you. So it's just the very beginning right now.
Ma'am, do you have any upcoming projects or books that you're working on?
Yeah, I'm working on a book called Arise Awake Part 2. This is about people who have started a company right after college.
Hmm.
Right. So many times I go to colleges to give lectures, and people say, when is the right time to start a business? So I always say that there is no right time, but if you want, you can start now also. You don't have to get experience and then start, right? So I
Hmm.
wrote a book on this called Rise Awake, which came out in 2015. So this is a part two
Hmm.
of that book. Like, it's basically for people like you who are still in college and wondering kya kare. So
Hmm.
my the stories are about people who started something while they were students,
Hmm.
and then some of those things clicked, and then they said, okay, chalo yahi karte hain. Right. So as a student, you have a lot of time, you have free internet, you have lots of friends, you have hostel, somebody's taking care of your expenses, right? थोड़ा बहुत पढ़ाई भी कर सकते हो. So people People who start when they're in college, sometimes just for fun,
Mm.
and then that project really becomes interesting for them, and it makes little money, and then they have an option. Like they can either do placement or they can do their own business. So that's the book which I'm working on, which will come out in about 3 months.
Anything else you would like to share with our readers, like any message of sorts?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think now that you're in IIT, take full advantage of these 3 4 years that you have there, 4 or 5 years, because anything can happen, right? I mean, it's not just about getting the placement. I mean, I think if you really like your subject, get into, do some project with your professor. Or if you hate engineering, then fine, do something else. Maybe start a small business, do something to make sure you know enjoy this time to the fullest and use the time also. You'll never get so much opportunity and resources. Everything is open to you. So I think nowadays what happens, many of you spend so much time and effort in getting into IIT कि वहाँ जाके कहते हो अब तो कुछ करना ही नहीं. But that's not the way, right? I mean, you have the whole world at your fingertips. So make use of it. If you want to be, try out new things. I think IIT has a trekking club. A lot of people in my book have mentioned they went for treks, and they still remember that was one of the most memorable experiences of friends they made in that. So I don't know if trekking club is still popular. Find
Yeah.
something, dramatic, trekking, something which you can do, which will stay with you for life.